Hello everyone and welcome to a new video about the Louvre heist. Today we're talking because the BBC News said this. Two suspects have been arrested over the theft of precious crown jewels from Paris's Louvre Museum, French media say. The Paris prosecutor's office said one of the men had been taken into custody as he was preparing to take a flight from Charles de Gaulle Airport. Items worth €88 million, £76 million, $102 million were taken from the world's most visited museum last Sunday, when four thieves wielding power tools broke into the building in broad daylight. France's justice minister has conceded security protocols failed, leaving the country with a terrible image. The Paris prosecutor's office said in a statement that the arrests had been made on Saturday evening, without specifying how many people had been taken into custody. One of the suspects was preparing to travel to Algeria, police sources have told French media, while it is understood the other was going to Mali. Specialist police can detain and question them for up to 96 hours. According to reports in French media on Sunday, DNA found at the scene of the robbery led to the identification of one of the suspects. The gang left behind a number of items, including gloves and a high-vis jacket. It has previously been reported that they dropped a crown that once belonged to Empress Eugenie, the wife of Napoleon III. The Paris prosecutor criticized the premature disclosure of information related to the case, adding that it hindered efforts to recover the jewels and find the thieves. The thieves reportedly arrived at 9:30, 8:30 Greenwich Mean Time, shortly after the museum opened to visitors. The suspects arrived with a vehicle-mounted mechanical lift to gain access to the Galerie d'Apollon, Gallery of Apollo, via a balcony close to the River Seine. Pictures from the scene showed the ladder leading up to a first-floor window. Two of the thieves entered by cutting through the window with power tools. They then threatened the guards, who evacuated the premises, and cut through the glass of two display cases containing jewels. A preliminary report has revealed that 1 in 3 rooms in the area of the museum raided had no CCTV cameras, according to French media. French police say the thieves were inside for 4 minutes and made their escape on 2 scooters waiting outside at 9:38. The museum's director told French senators this week that the only camera monitoring the exterior wall of the Louvre where they broke in was pointing away from the first-floor balcony that led to Gallery of Apollo. CCTV around the perimeter was also weak and aging, Laurence Decars said, meaning that staff failed to spot the gang early enough to stop the theft. Experts have also expressed concern that the jewels may have already been broken up into hundreds of pieces. Gold and silver can be melted down and the gems can be cut up into smaller stones that will be virtually impossible to track back to the robbery, Dutch art detective Arthur Brand told the BBC. Security measures have since been tightened around France's cultural institutions. The Louvre has transferred some of its most precious jewels to the Bank of France following the heist. They will now be stored in the bank's most secure vault, 26 meters, 85 feet, below the ground floor of its elegant headquarters in central Paris. Now because we're in the bread about the heist, let's talking about the suspects and after. All do you need to know about the suspects? 2 suspects have been arrested in connection with the October 19, 2025, jewel heist at the Louvre Museum in Paris, but the hunt continues for the other accomplices and the stolen jewels. Here's what is known. The arrests. On Saturday, October 25, French police arrested 2 men in their 30s from the Saint-Denis suburb of Paris. One was apprehended at Charles de Gaulle Airport as he tried to board a flight to Algeria, while the other was arrested in the Paris region. The ongoing investigation, police have been tracking the suspects for several days after identifying them through DNA left at the crime scene. Accomplices and missing items. The 2 men are thought to be part of a larger team of 4, and French authorities are still searching for the remaining suspects and the jewels, worth an estimated $100 million. Flawed. Escape. Despite the careful planning of the robbery, the thieves made several mistakes during their getaway. They left behind tools, a yellow vest, and gloves, and they dropped the crown of Empress Eugenie, which was later recovered. Condition of the jewels. Experts believe that the recognizable, stolen gems may be broken apart and sold individually, meaning their recovery intact is unlikely. The recovered crown of Empress Eugenie was damaged but is believed to be restorable. As of October 29, 2025, French authorities have arrested 2 suspects in connection with the Louvre jewel heist, but the jewels remain missing and the investigation is ongoing. A deadline for charging the 2 suspects, who are refusing to cooperate, is imminent. Suspects and investigation. Interrogation deadline. The 2 suspects, arrested on October 25, can be held for questioning without charge for 96 hours, a period that expires on Wednesday, October 29th. At that point, prosecutors must either charge them or release them. Refusing to cooperate, the two suspects, both in their 30s and with prior records for jewel theft, are refusing to cooperate with interrogators. Continued search for accomplices. Police believe the two men are part of a larger criminal network, and the hunt for additional perpetrators and masterminds continues. Frustration over leaks. Paris prosecutor Laure Becue has expressed regret over the premature leaking of information about the arrests, which she believes could harm the investigation and the chances of recovering the jewels. Stolen jewels and new security measures. Jewels still missing. The 8 stolen items, with an estimated value of 88 million euros, have not been recovered. At risk of being broken up, there are growing concerns that the thieves may have already begun to break up the gems to make them untraceable. Dutch art detective Arthur Brand has stated that melting down the metal and cutting the gems would make them almost impossible to track. Improved security at Louvre. A preliminary report revealed significant flaws in the Louvre security system at the time of the heist. The director admitted that exterior CCTV in the targeted area was weak and pointed away from the entry point. The Senate Culture Committee's president, Laurent Lafon, called the museum's security not up to standard. Precious jewels moved. In the aftermath of the heist, some of the museum's most precious jewels, including the Regent and Sanchi diamonds, were moved to a more secure location in the vault of the Bank of France. Nationwide security review. The French government has announced a comprehensive survey of security protocols at museums across the country.
Can France catch the thieves and save the jewels before history gets melted down? A question only time can answer.